Hello, welcome everyone to episode 14, 3 ways to remain calm under pressure. And I totally needed that. I was kind of kicked out of the internet here. So hello and welcome to tonight's episode. Let me know in the comments section if you're here, say a quick hello. And let me know, what is your number one pressure cooker for you as a director? What are those things that, excuse me, that consistently kind of set you off or send you into that pressure zone? So let me know in the comments section after you say a quick hello. Suki Zunt. And my little guy is here. I went live, the internet broke down, then he woke up, started crying. So we went to go take care of little man first, which is always important. Who is in the house? Let's see. Brenda's here, of course. Hello. All right, so we'll give another minute for everyone to get in, then I'm going to get started. Awesome. All right. Hey, hello everyone. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing to remember is that pressure is an inevitable part of, pressure is an inevitable part of, yes, someone phoning in sick at the last moment, for sure. So pressure is an inevitable part of the job. There's always going to be some kind of pressure when you are running a school, right? And hey, Hannah, good to see you. And because of that, it's important to remember that some pressure is normal. Excuse me, too much pressure is where it gets problematic and where it's like, okay, this is not healthy pressure anymore. Actually, no pressure is healthy in any kind of way. So let's go into strategy number one to help you just remain calm. Hi, Shirley, it's so nice to see you here live. So let's go into our first strategy to help you just remain that calmness even when it gets so stressful and so pressuring. So the first thing is that controlling your expectations. That is huge. And what do I mean by controlling your expectations? So when pressure arises, we set unrealistic expectations on ourselves, right? So we put all these pressure on ourselves that we have to be perfect, we have to do this, we have to do all of this stuff, and then we put that onto our people. And what's really important to remember is that you want to control your expectation as far as what is a realistic expectation and what is an unfair expectation. Is this fair to expect my people to do X, Y, and Z? Is this fair for me to expect my people to be as committed, as devoted, as, you know, motivated as I am? And it's not, because you're the director, you're the owner, whatever position you have, your people are never going to be as committed as you are. They're just not, they don't have that kind of buy-in like you do because it's not their place. Hey Danielle, nice to see you here live. And so because of that, controlling the expectation that you have, that you can have high standards for yourself. I have very high standards for myself in a lot of different things, but having that expectation of other people to have the same high standard as yourself is going to be a huge, it's going to be a huge piece of disappointment and pressure because you're constantly feeling like, why is no one living up to my expectation? So give me a quick thumbs up or a yes in the comments. If you're live now, if you're watching the replay, if you resonate with this concept of needing to just get in check with your expectation and making sure that they're aligned and that they're not unrealistic. So that's my first strategy of remaining calm. Awesome, a lot of likes. And the little dude is gonna give his like there. Hey, Kathleen. Awesome. Okay, great. So that's number one, is controlling your expectations. Number two is letting and forgoing perfectionism. And what's really interesting is that perfectionism is such a it's such a huge weakness in our leadership style. And it's not just a weakness, it's so much of how we show up every single day has a lot to do with perfectionism, that like we want to make sure that everything just fits exactly and all our ducks are in a row and everything just works exactly the way it should be. And it's a huge leadership gap for us. And Lolly Daskell talks about this so much in her book, The Leadership Gap. And she's going to be speaking at our live event in June. We're going to be mapping out our year in 2 days. And Lolly's going to be one of the speakers there, where she's going to be really delving into this concept of the weakness of perfectionism and how to forgo it, how to just start letting go of that feeling and that need to be perfect all the time. Even when it's just like doesn't serve you anymore. And like that's a big piece also to understand, is like, you know, being perfect and having all your ducks in a row serves you up to a certain point. And then when you enter this position of leadership, it just doesn't serve you anymore. It actually completely derails you and stops you from getting to the next level of being an amazing school leader. So that's the second thing, is really the letting go of perfectionism. At the end of our session today, we'll give some real, just practical strategies of what you can take action on starting tomorrow. So Michelle says, I'm there where I expect I have the same commitment, need to change my expectation. Yes. So that's the second one. The first one is controlling your expectation. Number 2 is letting go of perfectionism. And number 3 is clear, healthy boundaries. One of the biggest reasons that we have so much pressure in our lives is because we say yes so many times, constantly. We're constantly saying yes, and we feel the need that we need to please people. So let me know in the comment section right now, if you're live or if you're watching the replay, if you fall victim to this feeling of needing to say yes because you don't want to make anyone unhappy, you want to make sure you please everyone, part of your perfectionist mindset, and you have a hard time setting that healthy boundary. Just let me know in the comments here real fast, because I'm going to give you your first action step. Yes, okay, yes, yes. Don't like disappointing anyone, yes. 98% of the time I'm a people pleaser. I love you, Crystal. You're so on point. Shirley, yes. Okay, awesome. So Tammy, hey Tammy. Yeah, so here's the thing when it comes to the need to say yes and having a hard time with that clear boundary, is that it's become a default habit that your brain is just used to doing. That like, you just need to be that person. You want it, and it's always coming from a good place. You want to be helpful. You want to disappoint people. You want to make sure that you're well liked and all of that kind of stuff. And so because it's become a habit where your default answer has become yes, you don't want to go to the opposite extreme where your default answer becomes no. You just want to start practicing getting used to that concept of saying no, because for some people it's so extreme that they can't even say no. They can't even say like, no, that won't work for me right now. They have to say something like, oh, let me think about it, or this, and then like they just like wait for the person to forget about it because they don't want to actually just tell the person to their face, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me, or no, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out. Like, or not even say no, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Like just being very straightforward about, no, I can't do this right now. Annette says, I find it hard to be a people pleaser because I own, not to be a people pleaser because I own the daycare. Yes, so here's the thing. Even when you're an owner, even when you're a director, even when you're in a huge leadership position, yes, we want to make sure that people around us are happy. And that's not to say that you should go around saying no to everyone. But if you don't have clear, healthy boundaries, you are going to be consistently on the road to burnout, to stress, to pressure, to just everything else that you don't want to have in your life. And so the first exercise is just to start getting used to actually saying no to someone and see what like it feels like. So something like simple. So a great exercise is to get started with someone on your admin team, or if you have an assistant director or an assistant or a secretary, whatever it is. And and tell her that you're working on becoming less of this people pleaser, where you want to start being okay with saying no, and you want to start really small. And so her job this week is to ask you for 5 different things throughout the week, once a day, and you have to say no to it. So for example, she like super simple things that are really easy to say no to, right? So let's say she comes into your office and she's like, hey, Annette, can you make me a cup of coffee, please? Okay, you need to be able to say no. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you right now. Or you don't even have to say, I'm sorry, no, that's not going to work for me right now. You can come in an hour or something like that. And just start getting used to saying no. So then she could come in the next day and say, hey, can you get me a couple of markers? Or can you come upstairs and look at something for me? Or, you know, I have to run out for a minute. Can you man the phone line? Right? And she could be like making up a story, like she's not really leaving right now. The point is that she's going to ask you to do things and you have to say no. And the point of that is for you to start seeing what it feels like when you say no to someone. Like, do you die when you say no? You're not going to die if you say no. What does it make you feel like inside? Like, what does that uncomfortable feeling feel like? Can you get used to that feeling? Like, why do you feel the need to please people? Like, where's that coming from? And the more that you practice with it, the easier it starts becoming to set up a healthy boundary when a parent comes in and says, oh, I want to see, I want to do a school tour on a Monday morning. And you usually do tours on Wednesday, where you tell the parent, I'd love to see you. I'd love to give you a tour. I'm sure you guys will be a great fit for our school. I do tours on Wednesday. And then the parent responds, well, Wednesday doesn't work for me. Well, how about next Wednesday? Wednesdays are when we do tours. So let's look at your calendar and see what Wednesday will work for you. So putting up that healthy boundary where you're not just bouncing back and forth to accommodate every single person every single time. That's not to say that you never accommodate people and you never accommodate teachers and you never accommodate parents. Of course you do. The problem is that most directors extend the envelope way too far and don't have that healthy boundary put up. And it's hard to define that. And Rivka Caroline is actually one of the guest speakers at the live event. She's going to be talking about putting up healthy boundaries to ensure higher and more optimal productivity. So let me know in the comment section if this strategy of enlisting someone to ask you things so that you could say no to them is something that you might want to try out. And then I'm going to share 2 more strategies and then we'll check out for the night. So just quickly let me know in the comment section. Let's see. Yes. Awesome. Gonna try it. Okay, Crystal, awesome. Probably. Let's get a better commitment. Who would be that person, Lisa, that could do that for you? Brenda says, yes, I have someone I can ask. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. So that's as far as the boundary piece of like being able to say no. Letting go of perfectionism. If you really struggle with perfectionism, give me a thumbs up in the comments. I'm actually going to give a thumbs up also because I struggle with perfectionism myself. So I'm going to give a thumbs up right there because that's totally me. I think the more you practice, easier it'll be. So here's the thing, and this is what's so important to remember, and that's what we're going to talk about the live event also. Like, every single thing is about consistency and follow-up. Every single thing. Like any strategy I share with you, if you try it once, it's never going to work. It's always about consistency. The fortune is always going to be in the follow-up. So definitely, Shirley, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so if you're struggling with perfectionism, it's real. It's very real. Tammy says she's going to ask her assistant director. Awesome. I love that. So Crystal says the struggle is real. It is. It's so real, and especially for a perfectionist, it's like, oh my God, it's so difficult. So the thing is, one of the things that works for me that's helped me become less and less of a perfectionist is when something is good enough, I send it out. So like, for example, when I write an email, and a lot of you are on my email list, when I write an email, I'll review it a couple of times to make sure that I like the voice of it, I like the way it sounds, that it offers enough value, that someone who's reading it is going to enjoy it. It evokes emotion, it's educational, it's inspiring. Like, I want to make sure that my email, you know, it like hits a couple of different pointers, and then I proofread it once, and then I send it. And I don't sit and stew and brew over it again and again and say, oh, if I make the font bigger, if I add a bold part here, maybe I should do this. Should I add another graphic? Should I do this? Should I do that? I could always make the email better, always, but then I would never send it. And so to me, one of the biggest steps of becoming less a perfectionist is being okay with good enough. The email is good enough. It invokes the emotion. It sends the message. It's educational. It's good enough. Yes, maybe there was one or two spelling mistakes. Maybe there was an I that wasn't capitalized. Maybe there was a comma that shouldn't have been there. Maybe I didn't put a period at the end of every sentence. But if I'm going to hem and haw over that again and again, I'm never going to send it out. Now, for some people, that might not be something they're ready to forego. Like, to them, the spelling and the grammar and the this and the that is like always has to be perfect. Great, that's you. Then don't choose that thing. Pick something else that you're going to be okay with it not being perfect, and it should be good enough. So it could be something else. It could be like, you know, maybe the way that you're getting dressed in the morning, maybe your routine, maybe a certain habit that you have, maybe a meeting, or whatever it is. Think about what is that thing that could be good enough. And then you're going to send it out. Then you're going to put it out there. It's going to be good enough. So let me know in the comment section if that is going to be something that's your commitment. Again, if you're watching the replay, comment here. I go back and I respond to all of the comments even afterwards. So definitely let me know, like, if letting go of perfectionism and having something be good enough is going to be your action step. And then we'll do one more action step, and then we'll be ready to roll. All right. 3 cheers for good enough. Yay! Awesome, Kathleen, I love that. You're being super specific. Our special events. Yes, you could always make the event prettier, fancier, these kinds of chairs, this kind of tablecloth, this kind of lighting, this kind of food, this kind of basket, this kind of plates, this kind of forks. It's endless, but is it good enough? Is it connected with our core values, who we are, and the mission of why I'm actually doing this? And if it is, then it's good enough. They make me crazy, yeah. That is what terrifies me. Yes, definitely. Totally perfectionism. Good enough. This is frightening, let go of, to just be good enough. Yeah, because again, like, we have to be accepting of ourselves that we're good enough, and it's okay, and it's so hard. But that's part of like commenting here and making that public statement that we're all, you know, struggling with the same thing is a huge piece of showing up more fully as a director, showing up more fully as a school leader. And so the final piece is that, again, you know, you guys heard me speaking so much about the live event. We're going to be mapping out our entire year in 2 days. And Lolly Daskell is one of the speakers at the live event. She's going to be talking about the leadership gap. We're going to leverage your weakness, understand how you're showing up as an imposter, how you're showing as a perfectionist, how you're showing up with, you know, higher standards and as a fixer, like all the different ways that you show up as a director. She's going to be showing you how to leverage that and how to bring out the best of your team, how to highlight, like, leverage the weaknesses of your team. Like, teachers that are struggling with things or have a weakness, she's going to show you how to leverage that and with yourself and magnify everyone's strengths so much more. And then Rivka Caroline is going to be focused a lot more on healthy boundaries. Like, how do you put up boundaries in a way that feels healthy and good for you, right? For me, a certain boundary may be really comfortable, and for someone else, that boundary might be totally not aligned with who they are and what their value system is. And so it's so important to understand what are the healthy boundaries for you as an individual and then as a school leader. So Rivka's going to be going into that. I'm so excited about that. And again, like if you want more information about the live event, leave a comment, more info, so I could follow up with you on that, because we only have 25 spots left for the live event. It's amazing. It's just really selling out. People are really excited about it. So let me see here. Again, there are 3 things to remain calm under pressure: is controlling your expectations, letting go of perfectionism, and setting up clear, healthy boundaries. So as you sign out tonight, let me know what is your one thing that you are going to be doing tomorrow morning, your MIA, your most important action tomorrow. And while you write that, I'm just going to go here into the comments and respond to some comments. So Leah says, I try to remind myself that no one else will judge me as critically as I judge myself. Yes, just be easier on yourself. Everyone has their own little package. Everyone has their own thing that they're taking around with them. Everyone is so busy and self-involved with their own life. No one even notices. And that's why, and I love that you brought this up, because it's so important to understand, like, we have to be good enough for ourselves. We have to feel like we're good enough. And when we do that, we don't have to prove ourselves constantly to everyone else, you know? Good enough and practicing saying no. Awesome, Lisa, thank you. Asking someone to let me say no to them. Yes, this is like huge. Like when I do like role playing with my kids, like, you know, on the bus is notorious for bullies and kids like that. Like I role play with my kids all the time. Like, let's practice. Like when someone comes over to you and says, hey, give me your seat, what are you going to say to them? You know, when someone comes over to you and says, you know, like grabs your backpack away, like what do you say to them? Like we role play all the time because they need practice, right? So as a director, setting healthy boundaries, Kathleen, I love that. Like, so maybe your action step is having your assistant or your assistant director or whatever position you have, having them ask you for, you know, 3 or 4 little things throughout the week so that you could just say no. Like feel what that word feels like on your tongue, you know? Saying no, being good enough. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right. So ladies, I'm going to check out here again. If you want more information about our live event, we're going to be mapping out our year in 2 days. Strategy, implementation, all strategy and implementation. It's going to be epic. Let me know in the comments more info. If you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments as well. I go back and I read them and, you know, check them all out. It's been awesome. Say good night, my friend. You didn't fetch it all. I love you. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's been real. Take care, guys. And I will see you later this week. All the best. MIA is that I'm going to try to let go, create healthier boundaries with the word no. Awesome. All right, ladies. All the best. Good night.